The village of Nyansa. Introduction to Nyansa village. Nestled within the heart of a dense and vibrant forest, the village of Nyansa is a tranquil place, where life flows in rhythm with nature. The air is fresh with the scent of wildflowers, and the clear rivers meander through the village, their waters reflecting the bright sun by day and the silver moon by night. It is a place where the rhythm of life is slow, and the pulse of the earth beats in time with the people's hearts. The villagers of Nyansa are deeply connected to their surroundings, living in harmony with the forest that shelters them. They believe that the forest is alive, its trees whispering ancient wisdom and offering guidance. They understand that their lives are not separate from the earth, they are woven into its very fabric, and each step they take must honor the balance that nature demands. In Nyansa, the community is more than just a group of people, it is a living, breathing entity. Every evening, as the sun dips below the horizon, the elders gather the children around the fire, sharing stories passed down through generations. These tales speak of ancestors who walked the earth as giants, of gods who whispered in the wind, and of spirits who reside in the shadows of the forest. The stories remind the villagers of their responsibilities, to respect nature, to live with humility, and to honor the truth in their hearts. The people of Nyansa trust in the spirit world, a belief woven into every aspect of their lives. They do not see the world as a place of separation, where humans stand apart from the natural world. Instead, they see themselves as stewards, caretakers of the land, living in constant conversation with the elements, the animals, and the spirits that dwell in the unseen corners of the earth. Main characters introduced. Siba, the heart of Nyansa. Siba is a young girl with a heart full of kindness. Her name means light, a reflection of the gentle glow that radiates from her soul. Siba is known for her connection to nature, she speaks to the trees as if they are old friends, and animals approach her without fear. Her presence is calming, her smile warm, and her spirit untainted by pride. In the village, she is cherished for her generosity, always the first to offer help to those in need, whether it's tending to the sick, carrying heavy loads for the elderly, or guiding the children through the lessons of the land. Siba's kindness is natural, flowing effortlessly from her heart. She embodies the virtues that the elders praise: humility, patience, and a deep respect for the world around her. Her humility is evident in every action she takes. She never seeks recognition or reward for her deeds, and yet, the village continually offers its praise, for her deeds speak louder than words. Gemela, in stark contrast to Siba stands Gemela, her stepsister. While Siba is humble, Gemela is proud and vain, always craving attention and admiration. Gemela's beauty shines like the sun at noon, and she knows it. However, unlike Siba, her beauty is accompanied by an insatiable hunger for validation, and she cannot stand being in the shadow of her stepsister's light. Her jealousy grows with each act of kindness that Siba performs. Where Siba is praised for her gentle nature, Gemela becomes consumed with resentment. She feels as though no one notices her unless she does something spectacular, something that outshines Siba. Her beauty, though admired, never brings her the satisfaction she desires. Gemela believes that the only way to gain the respect she craves is to be seen as superior to Siba in every way, especially in the eyes of the villagers. Sarah, the mother of both Siba and Gemela, Sarah is a woman known for her harshness and stern nature. Her eyes are always sharp, constantly searching for a reason to criticize, and her tongue is quick with biting words. Unlike Siba, who radiates warmth, Sarah is cold and calculating. She has long resented Siba's presence in their home, seeing her as a rival for the love and admiration of the villagers. Sarah's favoritism toward Gemela is obvious, and though she may appear to be a loving mother, there is a bitterness in her heart. She harbors a secret resentment toward Siba, believing that the young girl's purity makes her seem superior and that she will never measure up to the image Sarah wishes to project. Sarah encourages the rivalry between the girls, often feeding Gemela's insecurities with cruel words, telling her that she deserves more praise, more love, more attention. The conflict begins. As the seasons change in Nyansa, the villagers continue to witness the light that Siba brings into their lives. Her generosity never wavers, her heart remains unburdened by the weight of pride. She becomes a symbol of the virtues the elders uphold, and the villagers hold her in the highest regard. They whisper that Siba is blessed by the spirits, that her goodness comes from a place of divine grace. The elders offer her blessings, calling her daughter of the earth and the heart of our village. However, not everyone in the village shares in the admiration. Gemela's envy grows with each kind word spoken about Siba. It eats at her from the inside, a fire that she cannot quench. She watches Siba's actions with narrowed eyes, unable to understand why her own efforts to stand out are always overshadowed by her stepsister's quiet deeds. The more praise Siba receives, the more Gemela resents her. Sarah, ever the manipulator, sees an opportunity to nurture her own daughter's bitterness. She whispers in Gemela's ear, feeding her fears and doubts, telling her, why should she have all the glory? You are the true daughter of this house. It is your beauty and strength that should be celebrated. Sarah plants the seed of jealousy in Gemela's heart, convincing her that Siba is trying to take what rightfully belongs to her. Sarah's harsh words wrap around Gemela's heart like vines, growing tighter and more suffocating with each passing day. Gemela, now fully consumed by jealousy, begins to believe that the only way to gain the attention she craves is to make Siba disappear. The love the villagers give to Siba, the praise that flows so freely, has become an unbearable weight on her shoulders. Gemela is determined to break free from Siba's shadow, and she begins to think of ways to remove her stepsister from the picture altogether. As the days pass, the whispers in the village grow, not of the blessings Siba brings, but of the animosity that simmers beneath the surface. And so begins the tale of two sisters, one who shines with purity, and one who would go to any lengths to take that light for herself, the forbidden path. Gemela's desperation. The jealousy inside Gemela grew like a storm, dark and consuming, clouding her once bright heart. Every glance she cast at Siba felt like a slap, every word of praise spoken about her stepsister was another thorn buried deeper in her chest. The praise Siba received from the villagers, the way they cherished her, spoke of her goodness, and treated her like a blessing from the spirits, was more than Gemela could bear. It gnawed at her, making her resent the very existence of the girl she had once called family. Gemela had tried for so long to outshine Siba. She dressed herself in the finest clothes, adorned herself with colorful beads, and even tried to be kind to the villagers, but all her efforts were in vain. They still saw Siba as the village's heart, the one who embodied everything pure and good. Gemela's beauty and charm never seemed enough to earn her the admiration she craved. And so, her heart turned darker. As the whispers of Siba's goodness continued to echo around the village, Gemela could feel the weight of envy crushing her. She would never be seen as the pure-hearted girl that Siba was. Her beauty, her talents, her sharpness, none of it mattered when compared to Siba's humble kindness. No matter what she did, she could never get the love and respect that flowed so naturally to her stepsister. One day, as Gemela wandered near the village square, an old villager, known for her deep knowledge of the ancient ways, approached her. With eyes heavy with secrets, the woman leaned in close and whispered, "There are powers beyond this world. Hidden deep within the sacred forest lies a spirit who can give you power. The guardian of the forest, they call it. She holds the magic of old, magic that can change your fate." Gemela's heart quickened at the mention of power. The old woman continued, her voice low and secretive, "Those who seek her out must offer their heart, give up something precious. If your heart is strong enough, she will grant you the power to rule, to take what is rightfully yours." The idea of gaining power over others, the power to eliminate Siba and finally be the one the villagers admired, began to take root in Gemela's mind. The possibility of controlling her fate, of being adored and praised, filled her with excitement. She no longer cared about the cost. She wanted that power, and she would do anything to get it. The journey into the forest. Under the cover of night, Gemela made her decision. She would no longer be a pawn in Siba's shadow. With a heart full of dark desire and a mind set on vengeance, Jemala decided to venture into the forbidden part of the sacred forest, the very place where no villager dared tread. The villagers spoke of the forest with reverence and fear. They said that once you entered, the trees would watch you, the spirits would whisper in your ear, and time itself would bend to the will of the forest. It was a place where only the brave, or the foolish, would go. The heart of the forest was a realm of spirits and ancient magic, where every leaf and stone held power, and every step could lead to discovery, or destruction. Jemala, however, was blind to the warnings that echoed in the stories of the elders. All she could think about was the power she would gain, the control she could have over her own life and the future of the village. With a determined step, she entered the forest. The trees grew taller as she moved deeper, their branches intertwining above to form a thick canopy. The light of the moon barely pierced through, and the air grew thick and heavy. Every sound seemed amplified, the rustling of leaves, the snap of twigs beneath her feet, and the occasional distant hoot of an owl. But Jemala's mind was fixed only on the goal ahead. She paid no attention to the shifting shadows in the corners of her vision, nor did she hear the warning whispers of the creatures that called this place home. The further she walked, the more the forest seemed to close in around her. The birds stopped singing, the wind died down, and even the earth beneath her feet felt as though it was resisting her presence. But Jemala's desire for vengeance was a fire that could not be doused. She pressed on, deeper and deeper into the heart of the forest. Soon, she came upon a clearing, the trees parting to reveal an ancient stone altar. The air shimmered with a strange energy, and the ground beneath her feet seemed to hum with a silent power. In the center of the clearing, there was a figure, an ancient serpent, its scales shimmering with an otherworldly glow. Its eyes, glowing like twin embers, regarded her with a penetrating gaze that seemed to look straight into her soul. Meeting the spirit guide. Jemala stood frozen in awe and fear as the serpent uncoiled itself slowly, its body curling in elegant, fluid motions around the altar. Its head rose to meet her gaze, and in that moment, Jemala felt the weight of its power. The serpent was not just an animal, it was a being of immense wisdom and ancient magic. It was the guardian of the sacred forest, the spirit that had been spoken of in whispers for generations. The serpent's voice was not spoken aloud, but resonated directly in Jemala's mind. You have come seeking power, little one. But power comes at a cost. It is not given freely to those who do not understand its weight. Jemala, her heart pounding in her chest, swallowed her fear and spoke with determination. I seek the power to control my own fate, to take what belongs to me. I have nothing left to lose. The serpent studied her for a long moment, its eyes gleaming in the dim light of the clearing. You wish to take the light of another and claim it for yourself. Your heart is full of envy. Tell me, child, what are you willing to give up for this power? Jemala did not hesitate. Her envy had consumed her, and she was blinded by the desire to outshine Siba. She felt she had already given up enough, her joy, her peace, her place in the village. She would do anything to take it all back. I will give you anything, she declared. Anything for the power to make them see me. To make them love me. The serpent's head lowered slightly, and the earth seemed to sigh. Very well. You shall have the power you seek. But remember this, little one, power is not something to be taken lightly. When you reach out to claim it, you will sacrifice something precious. Once you have it, you will never be the same. Jemala nodded eagerly, her heart racing with anticipation. The serpent then offered her a small gourd, its surface etched with ancient symbols. This will hold the power you seek. But once it is opened, there is no going back. Without a second thought, Jemala took the gourd from the serpent, sealing her fate. She could already feel the power coursing through her veins, an intoxicating force that promised to give her everything she had ever wanted. But as the serpent's eyes held hers, a shadow flickered across its gaze, an ancient warning that Jemala failed to understand. the dark bargain. As she took the gourd and turned to leave, the serpent's voice echoed in her mind one last time, "Beware, Gemella. The price of power is never paid in gold. It is paid in something far more valuable." But Gemella's heart was already consumed with the thrill of what was to come. She had everything she wanted in her grasp. She would make them all see her, the way they had seen Siba. Little did she know, the true cost of her actions would soon come to haunt her, and the darkness she had invited into her heart would take more than she ever imagined. The betrayal. The poison gift. When Gemella returned from the sacred forest, she felt a power coursing through her veins, a darkness she had never known. The gourd she had received from the serpent spirit was now a tangible force in her hands, brimming with venomous magic. The serpent spirit had given her the power she had long craved, but at what cost? She could already feel the bitterness and envy within her twisting deeper, binding her heart to the shadows. Gemella had made her decision. With the power of the serpent's venom at her disposal, she would destroy Siba, the girl who had always been the village's shining star. Siba's goodness, her humility, and her kindness, everything Gemella had never had kept her in the background for far too long. In the quiet of her home, Gemella prepared her gift for Siba. She carefully extracted venom from the spirit serpent, using a tiny drop of its deadly essence to brew a potion that would send Siba into a deep, unending slumber or worse, take her life. The potion was a mix of venom, herbs, and dark magic, so potent it could paralyze the body or end a life altogether if consumed. With trembling hands, Gemella watched the potion bubble and swirl in the darkness, the thick, green liquid almost glowing in the dim light. This would be the end of Siba, of her goodness, her purity, her light. The village would finally see Gemella for who she truly was, the one with the strength, the beauty, and the power to rule. That night, under the cover of darkness, Gemella crept into the kitchen where Siba had left her meal unattended. The potion, dark and ominous, was carefully poured into Siba's bowl of food, mingling unnoticed with the herbs and spices. Gemella's heart raced with anticipation as she stepped back, hiding in the shadows, waiting for her sister to return. The time had come. She would no longer be in Siba's shadow. Gemella believed that with the poison's effects, she would be free, unburdened by the light that had always overshadowed her. Siba's discovery. However, fate was not so easily swayed. As Siba entered the room, her senses tingled with an eerie awareness. Her deep connection to the earth, her unwavering bond with the natural world, had never failed her before. This time, it warned her of something dark lurking in the shadows, something unnatural. Siba had always trusted her instincts, a gift bestowed upon her by the spirits that watched over the village. As she approached her meal, her eyes lingered on the bowl, and a sudden sense of unease washed over her. The air felt heavier, thicker, and the usual joy of eating did not stir in her heart. Her spirit told her something was wrong. Siba paused, listening to the voice of the earth beneath her feet, the wind rustling through the trees just outside the window. They were all whispering to her, the plants, the animals, even the breeze seemed to hold its breath. She knew something was amiss. With a trembling hand, Siba lifted the bowl to her lips but stopped just short of tasting the food. She had been warned. The venom in the potion could not be hidden from her, the earth would not let her fall into its trap. Instead of the sickness she feared, Siba felt an overwhelming surge of energy, an ethereal light rising from within her. Her skin seemed to glow with an unearthly radiance, and a warmth filled her heart. She felt the power of the earth flowing through her, steadying her, protecting her. Her purity was stronger than any poison Gemella had created. The revelation struck her with a force that shook her to her core. Gemella had betrayed her. The poison was meant to kill her, to take her light, to extinguish the goodness the villagers had always cherished. The betrayal was not just a matter of poison, it was a direct attack on her spirit, on everything she held dear. Siba, now fully aware of Gemella's malicious intent, rose from the floor. The power of the forest surged through her, and the forest responded with whispers, songs, and the shifting of the winds. Siba could feel the forest acknowledging her strength, her purity, and her connection to the land. With the glow surrounding her fading slightly, Siba made her decision. She had to leave the village. She had to protect it from the curse that Jemala had set into motion. The darkness that Jemala had invited into their home would not be stopped by a simple confrontation. She needed to seek guidance, to break the curse before it consumed everything. A mysterious visitor. The next morning, as Siba wandered the edge of the forest, seeking solace in its stillness, an elder approached her. The elder, a wise woman whose sight had seen much beyond the physical realm, had known of the curse placed upon the village. She had felt the shift in the balance, the darkness that had begun to creep through the land. Siba, the elder spoke softly, her voice carrying a weight of knowledge. The serpent spirit has cursed this land. Its venom runs deep through the heart of the forest, and its touch has already begun to taint the village. You were chosen to stop it. Siba listened closely, her heart heavy with the realization of just how much was at stake. But how can I stop it? How can I break the curse that has been placed on my home? The elder's eyes grew somber. Only one who carries no darkness in their heart can lift the curse. The serpent's magic will remain until someone pure can cleanse it. You must leave this place, Siba. You must venture deep into the forest to seek the guidance of the forest spirits. They alone know how to break the serpent's hold. Siba's chest tightened at the thought of leaving her village, the people she had loved and protected, but she knew what had to be done. The village could not survive the curse, and Jemala's betrayal had already begun to unravel the threads of peace that had once held it together. No, Siba whispered, her voice full of resolve. I will not abandon them. I will face whatever dangers lie ahead, even if it means walking alone into the depths of the forest. I will break the curse, or I will die trying. The elder nodded slowly, her face filled with both sorrow and pride. Go, then. Follow the path that calls to you. You are the one who must save us, Siba. You carry the truth, and that truth will guide you. Siba set out on her journey that very day, her heart both heavy and determined. She knew that the forest would be filled with trials, but she could no longer wait. Her village, her family, needed her. She could not let the darkness spread further. Her steps were slow but steady as she moved toward the heart of the forest, where the ancient spirits awaited her. As the trees closed in around her, the whispers of the earth surrounded her, urging her forward. Siba's connection to the natural world grew stronger with each step, and she knew in her heart that she was not alone. The spirits of the forest would guide her through the trials that lay ahead, the test of the forest. Siba's journey. The journey into the heart of the sacred forest was more treacherous than Siba had anticipated. The deeper she walked, the thicker the trees grew, their roots twisting around each other like the fingers of unseen hands. The air grew cooler and denser, and the silence of the forest seemed to press down on her, heavy with ancient secrets. She could feel the presence of something greater, something older, watching her every step. The path she followed was no longer clear, branches seemed to move as if they had a life of their own, stones shifted beneath her feet, and the shadows of the trees seemed to shift with every glance. Yet, Siba's resolve remained unshaken. Her connection to the earth, to the spirit world, guided her forward. She knew that she was not walking alone. The forest itself was alive, and though it was a place of test, it would never abandon her. The first trial came unexpectedly. As she moved along the trail, a pair of wise old owls swooped down in front of her, blocking her path. Their eyes glowed with a sharp, knowing light, and their wings created a soft, haunting sound as they hovered above her. To pass, the first owl spoke in a voice that resonated like the rustling of leaves. You must answer this. What is the greatest strength a heart can hold? Siba paused, thinking deeply. The owls circled above her, their eyes never leaving her face, waiting for her answer. She could feel the weight of the question, the power it held, and the importance of the moment. Compassion, she said softly, without hesitation. Compassion is the greatest strength a heart can hold. It is the ability to understand the pain of others and still choose to love. The owls exchanged a glance, their eyes gleaming with approval. You are wise, child, the second owl murmured. Compassion will guide you through the trials ahead. With that, they flew off into the trees, leaving the path before her clear once again. The next trial was less obvious but no less difficult. As Siba ventured deeper, she encountered a group of mischievous monkeys, their laughter echoing through the trees. They swung from branch to branch, darting in and out of her path, causing distractions and delays at every turn. What do you seek in the forest, young one of the monkeys chattered, its voice light and playful. Is it wisdom you desire? Or perhaps something more? Siba's first instinct was to answer with frustration, but she remembered the lesson from the owl. I seek balance, she replied, her voice steady. I seek to restore what has been broken, to find the truth that will save my people. The monkeys paused, their expressions turning more serious. Balance, you say, one of them mused. Then show us your patience. Show us that you can stay true to your path, even when it seems as though the world is playing tricks on you. Siba took a deep breath, grounding herself. The monkeys continued to dart in and out of her vision, chattering incessantly, but Siba ignored their distractions. She kept her gaze fixed on the path ahead, focusing only on the journey she had started and the purpose she carried. After what seemed like an eternity, the monkeys stopped their teasing, and one by one, they disappeared into the trees, clearing the way for her to continue. With each challenge, Siba's patience, humility, and kindness were tested. But with each trial, she grew stronger. She realized that these obstacles were not meant to hinder her, but to refine her spirit, to prepare her for the greater task that lay ahead. And so, she pressed on, her heart steady and her resolve unwavering. The Serpent Queen. After days of traveling through the dense forest, Siba finally reached the heart of the woods, a sacred grove unlike any place she had ever seen. The trees here were ancient, their trunks gnarled and twisted, their roots deep in the earth. The air was thick with the scent of flowers that seemed to glow in the dim light. In the center of the grove was a magnificent pool of crystal clear water, its surface reflecting the stars even though the sun had yet to set. It was here, in the stillness of the grove, that Siba found her. The Serpent Queen rose from the center of the pool, her form shimmering in the pale light. She was a magnificent creature, part woman, part serpent, her eyes glowing like the moon. Her long, coiled body glided across the water effortlessly, her movements graceful and fluid. The queen was not just a guardian of the forest, she was a being of great wisdom and power, a spirit who had existed since the dawn of time. You have come, child of the earth, the Serpent Queen said, her voice both soothing and powerful. I have been waiting for you. Siba stood before her, in awe of the being before her. I have come to seek your help, Siba said, her voice filled with respect. The curse placed upon my village, by the hands of one who is lost to envy, it is destroying everything. Only you can help me save my people. The Serpent Queen studied Siba for a long moment, her glowing eyes piercing the depths of Siba's soul. It is true, she said finally. Your heart is pure, and your spirit is strong. You are the chosen one. Only you can restore balance to the land and break the curse. But the task will not be easy. Siba felt a surge of hope at hearing these words, but the queen's next words tempered that hope with the weight of responsibility. To lift the curse, you must sing the song of truth, the Serpent Queen continued. It is a melody born of the earth, carried by the wind, and sung with the soul. Only those who walk without deceit, those who hold no darkness in their hearts, can sing this song and make the land whole again. It is not a simple tune, it is a reflection of your true self, your deepest essence. And it will be tested. Siba's heart skipped a beat. The song of truth. She had heard the stories of its power to heal, to cleanse, to restore, but she had never imagined that she would be the one to sing it. "I will sing it," Siba said, her voice filled with determination. "I will sing it for my village, for my people, and for the truth that must be known." The Serpent Queen nodded, her gaze softening. "The song is within you, Siba. But it must come from your heart. Do not fear its power. Trust in the light within you, and the earth will guide your voice." The gift of the song. The Serpent Queen guided Siba to the edge of the pool, where the water shimmered like glass. She placed a hand gently on Siba's forehead, and a wave of warmth flowed through her, as if the earth itself was speaking directly to her soul. Siba closed her eyes, listening to the whispers of the forest, the rustling of the leaves, the hum of the river. Slowly, she began to feel the song within her, soft at first, like the gentle stirrings of the wind. It began to grow louder, clearer, and with each note, Siba felt herself more deeply connected to the land, to the truth, to everything that she had been fighting for. She opened her mouth, and the first note of the song of truth escaped her lips. It was not a song of power, not of anger or vengeance, it was a song of peace, of healing. It was a song of truth, pure and unblemished, a melody that resonated with the earth itself. With each note, the land responded. The trees swayed, the flowers bloomed, and the stars above seemed to shine brighter. The curse that had plagued her village began to lift, as if the earth itself was cleansing it, purging the darkness that had taken root. Siba's heart swelled with the music, and for the first time, she truly understood. This was not just a song, it was the essence of who she was. Her journey had not just been about saving her village, it had been about embracing her true self, the light that had always been within her. And as the song rang through the forest, Siba knew that the curse would be lifted, and balance would be restored to the land, the return and the judgment. Siba's return. Siba's journey back to the village was one of quiet strength. As she moved through the forest, the world seemed to shift with her every step. The trees that had once stood in thick shadows now stood tall and welcoming, their branches parting to allow the light to filter through. The air itself felt lighter, freer, as though the earth itself was exhaling in relief. Even the river that ran through the village, which had once carried the weight of sorrow, now sparkled with the clarity of renewal. As Siba crossed the threshold of the village, the people stopped what they were doing, sensing a change in the atmosphere. The heaviness that had hung over them for so long, the darkness that had clouded their hearts, seemed to lift with her presence. The sky above was clearer, the sun brighter, as though the heavens themselves were in harmony with the healing that Siba had brought back with her. Siba felt the familiar pull of the earth beneath her feet, the gentle hum of life that had always been a part of her, now stronger than ever. She knew that her purpose was clear, and her heart was filled with the power of the song of truth, a melody that could bring balance, restore peace, and cleanse the land from the darkness that had nearly consumed it. But as she stepped into the heart of the village, her eyes locked with Gemala's. A wave of fear washed over Gemala's face as she saw Siba standing there, bathed in light, her heart shining brighter than ever. The power of her jealousy and dark magic had been undone by Siba's purity. In that moment, Gemala realized the full extent of her betrayal, the destruction she had caused would now be exposed, and there would be no hiding from it. Siba's return was not just a personal victory, it was the promise of justice, of truth, and of mercy. Gemala knew her time was running out. The Song of Truth. The villagers gathered in a large circle around Siba, the air thick with anticipation. They had seen Siba's light, but now they would hear the sound that would seal the fate of the village and restore the balance that had been broken. The Song of Truth was not just a melody, it was the heartbeat of the earth, a cry from the soul that would cleanse and heal. Siba stood before the villagers, her heart steady, her mind focused on the task at hand. She closed her eyes, allowing the memories of her journey, the lessons of compassion, patience, humility, and strength to fill her heart. The air was still as she raised her voice, and the first note of the song rang out, soft and pure. The moment the sound touched the air, the earth trembled. The villagers gasped as they felt the vibration of the song deep in their bones. The trees began to sway in response, flowers bloomed at their feet, and birds filled the sky, singing in harmony with Siba's voice. The river, once clouded by darkness, began to flow clearer than ever before. The very land seemed to awaken, responding to the truth Siba was singing. As Siba continued the song, the villagers realized the full extent of Gemela's betrayal. The heavy feeling that had hung over them, the curse placed upon them by envy and deceit, was dissipating. The truth was undeniable. Siba's voice carried not just the power of her words, but the power of the earth itself. And with each note, the curse that had bound them to the darkness was lifted. Suddenly, the Serpent Queen appeared, rising from the depths of the forest. Her voice echoed through the trees, a deep, resonant sound that reverberated through the land. Gemela's actions were rooted in envy, and it was this envy that brought the curse upon this village, the Serpent Queen said, her voice powerful yet filled with sadness. But the truth has been spoken, and the balance has been restored. The light of one pure of heart has cleansed what was tainted. The villagers stood in awe, the weight of the Serpent Queen's words settling over them like a cloud lifting from their hearts. They now understood what had happened. The darkness had come from within, but it had been broken by the purity of Siba's soul. Justice and mercy. The village elders, who had long sensed the growing unease and darkness, now stood before Gemela and Sarah. The time for judgment had come. The elders were wise, their eyes full of sorrow as they looked at the two women, both of whom had once been trusted members of the community. Siba stood quietly at the front, her heart full of compassion, even for those who had wronged her. She could feel the weight of justice pressing upon her, but she also felt the weight of mercy, a truth she had learned during her journey. Justice must be served, she said, her voice calm but unwavering. But mercy must also be shown. They do not deserve death, they deserve a chance to reflect, to understand the consequences of their actions. The elders nodded solemnly, their faces etched with the burden of the decision. After a long pause, they spoke. Gemela and Sarah are guilty of betrayal and dark magic, the elder chief announced. But Siba, daughter of truth, has asked for mercy. We will honor her wish. Gemela and Sarah will be exiled, but they will be given no punishment more severe than that. They must leave the village and seek redemption elsewhere. Gemela's face twisted with shame, her pride crushed under the weight of the elder's judgment. Sarah, too, stood silent, her eyes filled with regret. The village had spoken, and their hearts were heavy with the consequences of their actions. Gemela and Sarah left the village quietly, their heads bowed in sorrow. Though they had not faced death, the punishment of exile weighed heavily upon them. The village, however, was free. The curse was broken, and balance had been restored. Siba had fulfilled her role as the bearer of truth, not through vengeance, but through mercy. A new beginning. The villagers, now free of the curse, looked to Siba as their new guide. She had shown them the power of humility, compassion, and truth, and in doing so, she had earned their respect not through power or fear, but through wisdom and love. Siba's name became synonymous with peace, balance, and justice. She did not seek power, but the villagers turned to her for guidance. She continued to live among them, teaching them the song of truth, passing down the wisdom she had learned on her journey. The song was not just a melody, it was a way of life, a reminder that only truth, when sung from a pure heart, could heal the world. As the years passed, Gemela and Sarah lived in exile, their hearts slowly changing. They had been given a second chance to reflect on their actions, and with time, they realized the depth of their mistakes. After many years, they returned, not to reclaim what they had lost, but to seek forgiveness. Siba, now a beacon of peace and wisdom, welcomed them back. She did not hold on to bitterness or anger, her heart, now full of the song of truth, was open. She embraced them, showing them that true power lay not in revenge, but in forgiveness and reconciliation. And so, the story of Siba, the girl who brought truth and balance to her village, passed down through generations. It became a tale not only of survival but of the light that cannot be extinguished, of the truth that must always rise, and of the mercy that heals all wounds.